vote for these or your kids will. Oh, well, your kids did get a piss poor education. Teachers are making record salaries for a poor performance in recorded world history. Now it's become just infiltrated in everything. And most people are probably yeah, we do have a school board. You know, obviously, if you got kids in school, you know where they're at. Oh, yeah, some people know, yeah, we have a school board, which kind of does our local stuff. Most people do. I bet you 2 out of 100 probably even know there's a county board of education. There's 58 of them. Every county in California has a county board of education. They're in charge of all the schools in your school district. You know, when your board of education, like the crime syndicate here in Marina Valley, Val Verde, which has another issue coming up we'll get to in a minute, or any of the others, RUSD, Riverside, San Bernardino, Etiwanda, Desert Sands, whatever. They're all under the County Board of Education, or in this case in Riverside County. Your County Board of Education has to approve every school budget. So when they pass it, that's not the end of it. If the County Board of Education says, no, we're not doing this, you're going to go back to the drawing board. We have Edwin Gomez, superintendent out here in Riverside County, a Corey Jackson protege, which should scare the crap out of anybody, especially if you got kids in Riverside County. You got Ted Alejandre in San Bernardino. There's a lady I ran across of this. She was a school teacher in San Bernardino. She goes by Antoinette Elaine. You can follow her on the Evil FB Network. I don't know if she's on TikTok or Instagram, but I know she's on Facebook. That's where I saw her. She's been pointing out down at the Riverside County Board of Education and a lot of things. She was a teacher that was trying to say, hey, there seems to be some very explicit sexual stuff going on here in and around this school I'm in, yada, yada, yada. And they basically blew it up from what she has posted. And she has testified in public comments at the school board, county board of education in this. Well, there's this New Deal cabal that all school districts combined between Riverside and San Bernardino County Board of Educations, and all the school districts have signed on with this whole teachers and everything contract and all that. And nobody can really, it's kind of like the voting thing. Nobody can really explain it. So Temecula said, you know, we're going to look at this contract. It's coming up on our agenda. And this is Antoinette Elaine at the Temecula School Board meeting. And I'm pointing this out for the people to say, well, you know, if they don't ever do anything and it's useless. Well, take a look at this.
Tonight, my name is Antoinette, and I'm a real-life example of how damaging IPC is to an employee. There is significant confusion about what the Inland Personnel Council actually is, and that confusion is reflected in your agenda, which is inaccurate and misleading to the public. The agenda conflates two completely different...
Agendas being inaccurate and misleading. How many times have I went up to these bodies and said, completely, I mean, I can accept any decision you make as long as you're making it on complete and accurate information. Here's Antoinette Elaine saying the same thing. Your agenda and what they're trying to snowball through you, through staff or whatever's going on, isn't what's really the case. You better pay attention. Here we go.
Different things. First, IPC is a joint agreement between school districts for personnel training, where AALRR is hired as a vendor to provide those trainings. Second, this district also holds a separate legal service contract with AALRR. They are not the same. They are different contracts with different purposes and different billing structures. Because the same law firm is operating in multiple roles, these roles have been blurred. There are 3 separate layers of contracts that must be understood. First, IPC itself, the Joint Powers Agreement signed by the districts. IPC is defined as a group of school districts. It is intended for personnel-related training. It is governed by the 2 county superintendents, Ted Alejandro and Edwin Gomez, who selected AALRR as the training vendor. They create the bylaws, which miraculously no one can locate.
So your county, according to Antoinette Elaine, you can't find out anything about this county superintendents create the bylaws and stuff. Where is that's why they should shove this transparency word up their rear end. There is no such thing as transparency in government. They try to cover up every darn crooked fraud, anything that's going on, stuff, mainly because they're profiting from it. And any of them that want to come in here, please, Eddie Gomez, Teddy Boy, or anybody else, please come in here and sit on this chair next to me. We'll broadcast it till the frickin' cows come home. And you prove me wrong. Have some balls and take the challenge. Be a man. Instead of a whiny little bee sitting under there and sitting in your ivory tower and will not take questions or will not defend your actions. That's what's wrong with the whole school system.
Second, the county level IPC contract. The agreement is signed by the county superintendents and AALRR. It is not signed by this board. Yet, you are bound by its contract terms. It introduces a discounted rate for structure that does not exist in an original JPA, and it appears as a function as an incentive for IPC member districts to hire AALRR for separate legal services. Third, their independent legal services contract with AALRR. The contract covers areas like special education, facilities. Those services could be provided by any law firm. The problem is that these separate agreements are blended together, creating confusion about what IPC is and where public funds are going. District Attorney Michael Hestrin has already been notified of the potential misuse of public funds. You are told there are discounts. Have you done a cost-benefit analysis? EdWatch.net.
Oh, I love that one. Have they done a cost-benefit analysis? Ha 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 ha. This is what the big, humongous. So I'm saying, all of you think, oh, it's my school, my teacher, they're doing it, it's everybody else. No, it is your school, your teacher, and everybody else's. And the whole California education system is the corruptest of the corruptest.
Reports that they are paying $350 a night for IPC conferences held at fancy resorts with cocktail hour with attorneys. Is this a benefit to taxpayers? The critical issue is, where are the bylaws? These bylaws govern how IPC operates, what authority has been delegated. Without them, this board has no idea what authority has been transferred or what you are offering. The bottom line is simple. The information presented here is inaccurate. You guys are...
So to those, and congratulations to Antoinette Elaine for standing up and making a very principled and poignant and with lots of evidence presentation before the board. These guys, and this is what if you want change, if you want the fraud to stop all across the board and have them pick in your pocket, this is what you have to do. You have to go there, because for all those saying, oh, they're going to do what they want, Well, the Temecula School Board, much to their credit, shot down this contract. So you can have an effect if you use the power you have. The most important public office is private citizen Edwin Brandeis. But you have to exercise that power. We'll see where it goes in the investigation. We'll see where Mike Hestron goes with it. I will ask or see if a complaint has been filed with the San Bernardino County District Attorney Jason Anderson, or he has the evidence, because, again, this is a two-county issue. And both of them could be dealing with the corruption. So to everybody, Antoine and Elaine, anybody else that went up there and said, hey, what the heck's going on? Kudos to the Temecula School Board, who's taken a lot of heat for a lot of things, for saying, you know, we're just not gonna go along with this at this point until we're more comfortable what the hell's going on here.